people in the comments are kind of saying define easily, not easily. It's going to be a nail biter. And then some people say it should be easy, but they're worried about the Rams game. So there's some disagreements on whether or not this game will be easy. I was going to ask you if there's any way to victory, any pathway that you see to victory for the Commanders. Now, once again, Jacoby Brissett out. The Commanders will also be missing their starting left tackle, Charles Lenoir Jr. I can't say it. They're missing their left tackle, their center, their right tackle is questionable. They moved their good players, one to our team and one to the Bears. And they're also out there starting running back and their backup running back. I don't like that's very, they're going through it. They're really going through it. I don't think they want to win. I don't think they're going to try to win. But if you had to, put your head together and come up with a strategy that they would win, a lot of people, I thought this was, no offense, but very dumb. I heard someone say, like, the Ravens put out a blueprint against Brock Purdy and against the Commanders. And so the way that that Brock Purdy and the 49ers bounce back is when they beat the Commanders. Like, the Commanders can't pull it off, and obviously the 49ers came up with a strategy to like combat their blueprint. I don't think the Commanders have the personnel to replicate anything that the Ravens did. So does a win against the Commanders, would that alter your opinion of where the 49ers are right now, or is it more just to be expected?
I mean, they should handle the Commanders like nothing. I see might be a Commanders fan, Mr. Cool, saying it's going to be 36-34 Commanders. Lay off the weed, Stephen A. Smith style. Because when you look at the Commanders now, they could put up points, and what I mean by that is Brian Robinson, I believe, was limited this week. He hasn't played for a couple of weeks, I believe. Could be mistaken, but he's limited this week. So that's their starting running back. But their receiving core is a way to beat us. And what I mean by that is you got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, three receivers, and Diami Brown, who are good receivers. I think Curtis Samuel was that they try to use him in that Debo role. But you have Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, who could beat you over the top. They could beat you as a route runner. If Jacoby Brissett and those two receivers could get going, that offense could do something. Now,
in your opinion, is Jacoby Brissett a better quarterback than Sam Howell? Like, would they be better off with him?
So there's a difference between better quarterbacks, right? Like, so I've always been, and I've said it before, like the talent, Sam Howell has better talent, right? Like, he has a stronger arm, he's a little bit more mobile. But Jacoby Brissett's been in the league and he understands who he is as a quarterback, that he can run that offense better because he's not gonna do something that he knows he can't do in the NFL. He's gonna do what he can do. And what I mean by that is him and Terry McLaurin, him and Jahan Dotson, they're not gonna do what, in my opinion, what I thought Howell was doing. Howell played good at some points and he played bad at some points. Now, what Howell's biggest issue was thinking everything could go deep. Everything is home run. Everything is XYZ versus you're going
You
to
know
see
what that's
Jacoby.
like now.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is with Jacoby Brissett, it's what are my limitations? It's kind of like, for example, Brock Purdy, right? Brock Purdy knew his limitations to start when he first started for the 49ers, that last year, right? Knew his limitations, wasn't going to do too much. That's Jacoby Brissett. I'm not going to do too much, and I'm just going to do what I can, and this offense will move. So for them, I think Jacoby Brissett is a better start for them. However, Sam Howell should be the one starting because if you don't end up with one of the top quarterbacks, Sam Howell's going to be your quarterback next year, whether you like it or not. So for him, just let the rookie go through the ups and downs.
I think they'll draft a quarterback no matter what, even if it's in the late, like even later, right? Because
I
Sam
mean,
Howell wasn't he drafted in the 5th round or something, or third
I
or fifth?
believe he was. I believe he was drafted in the fourth. I could be mistaken,
Oh.
but with
But I'm
Sam
just saying, like,
Howell,
he's not owed any
no, he's not
continuing.
owed money. He's not owed any money. But what I mean by for example, if you're not picking within the top 4 picks, I think number one, obviously, is going to go Caleb Williams. Number two, someone might try to trade up with Arizona. So whoever's at 3 is going to try to trade up with Arizona or 4 to get Drake May. Now, if you don't get one of those 2 quarterbacks, if from what I believe the Commanders right now, the draft order, I believe they're picking 4th or 5th. Now, if you're picking at that spot, or they're picking 3rd actually, picking 3rd, someone's going to leapfrog them if it stays as is. Someone's going to try to leapfrog them, which I believe it'd be New England trading up with Arizona to go ahead and get Drake May. Now, if that happens, picking at 3 is way too early to take a guy like Jaden Daniels. So you're either going to have to trade down to get Jaden Daniels, or you take the offensive tackle. Their O-line hasn't been great. They have good receivers, and you let Sam Howell be your quarterback next year. And you draft Penix or Bo Nix in the second or 3rd round, depending on where they go. But for me, it looks too much.
Bo Nix, I've heard his name a lot. I've heard he's.
I mean, I don't think he's a first-round quarterback. Some people do. I think he's a good college quarterback. But for Washington, their recipe to win is hoping their passing attack can beat us. Their running game is solid when Brian Robinson's there. Our run defense hasn't been the greatest of late. So if you could allow the Commanders to go into an offensive game plan where it's going to be a heavy dose of Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Brian Robinson, their offense is going to give you something. But their defense, they're no corners. They're out of safety. So when you're looking at the defense,
I don't know if I said that, but they're out of their 2 starting corners and their safety. But they are starting. I said this before the show. Tariq Castro Fields, 49ers legend. And by that, I mean the 49ers drafted him, I think, in the 6th round and then cut him in training camp. But way to go. Way to go him. Starting against revenge game for him. Is he going to get a pick on Brock Purdy?
Hey, if he does, that's crazy. If he does, that is crazy. I'd be shocked if he got it. It would put me in a situation where well, damn, him getting a pick on us, that'd be cool. That'd be crazy because I thought the Niners should have kept him as a special teamer. Doesn't hurt to have special team guys. They cut him. He got picked up. Now with him, if he could show something, this is a team that's going to be in a big rebuilding stage. It's a big opportunity for a guy like him because their corners are Benjamin St-Juste, who I believe is on a rookie contract, I believe. And then you got Kendall Fuller. Kendall Fuller is on a bigger contract. And if you could show something the last few weeks, you have the opportunity to make a roster spot and potentially carve out a starting spot on a Commanders team because Kendall Fuller's in his last year, so they're going to have to an opening at the corner position. So I think it's a very big opportunity for Tariq Castro Fields for the Commanders.
Have you been impressed with Chase Young's performance on the 49ers so far, or have you been a bit underwhelmed? The Commanders fan in the chat said could be a revenge game for Chase too. So is he gonna get a sack on Sam Howell and or Jacoby Brissett?
So I know most fans when Chase Young came over to the Niners, they were expecting a bigger sack numbers production, right? But I think he's been exactly what the Niners needed.
Talked about him, they said he had all the talent and ability, but it was kind of all put on him in Washington, and there was surrounding factors that might have been holding him back that at the Niners wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, so with the Niners, the good thing is he doesn't have to get those sacks, right? But the thing is when you trade for a guy like him, you're expecting him to come in and put up those sack numbers. And that's what 49er fans I've seen on Twitter and on other platforms are like, oh, well, he hasn't done shit for us. He only has 2.5 sacks for us over the last X amount of games. And that's not what the Niners brought him in for. They brought him in it's been 5 games?
I think five, maybe 7. Right when I said that, I put it down because I was like, I could be wrong.
So for him, it's one of those ones where the Niners did bring him in to generate some pressure, but they brought him in because now you have a pass rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, who teams have to respect. We didn't have that prior to getting Chase Young. And if we take notice, what's happened to Nick Bosa since Chase Young has got
Yeah.
here? We've seen his sack numbers go up. Why is that? It's because there's someone opposite of Nick Bosa who's generating respect from the opposing offense. And so I think this could be a revenge game. Could also be a revenge game for Kyle Shanahan and most notably Trent Williams.
There we go. Big Trent. Big Trent. I like that. I really like that. Really quickly, Douglas said, am I drinking beer or kombucha? I'm drinking neither. It's so bad. I wish it was kombucha. It's just apple cider vinegar in water. I had like really bad stomach issues, and my doctor told me that I should do that before I eat food. I don't know. I want to add stuff to it because I really like kombucha, but what I
I'm
realized
trying to
is
figure out what
just the vinegar
kombucha
is
is.
disgusting, and you need like sugar in it for it to be. So that's why if I'm like wincing while I'm